I'm Kirby Allison, and I consider myself immensely privileged to have traveled extensively while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. From the preeminent tailoring houses of London's Savile Row and the majestic beauty of the Scottish countryside on a traditional driven game shoot, all the way to the rich tobacco fields and cigar factories of Cuba's finest cigar producers. Today, this journey of discovery continues as I set out on a 2-week grand tour to explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition here in Italy. Italy is, of course, a country steeped in history, from the Roman Empire of ancient times through the Renaissance of the 15th and 16th centuries to the modern state that it is today. Its magnificent cities always manage to combine a deep respect for the past with a keen outlook towards the future. But more than anything else, Italy is about the Italian people, always stylish and well-dressed, friendly and forthcoming. On this trip, we shall be meeting up with a wonderful array of celebrated Italian artisans and craftspeople. From bespoke tailors and shoemakers to a single vineyard winemaker, and even bespoke pen makers. This is truly an experience not to be missed, so I hope you'll join me, Kirby Allison, as we set out for what promises to be a truly extraordinary journey exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition of this great country. Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and today I'm just 20 minutes outside of Florence in a beautiful neighborhood nestled in the hills called Porta Romana, where we continue our journey exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition here in Italy. As we have learned, my dear friend Tommaso Melani, CEO of Stefano Bemer, and his family have been deeply involved in the preservation of craft here in Florence. We visited Scuola del Cuoio, a leather workshop set up by Tommaso's grandfather in 1950 that has trained thousands of craftspeople in the traditional methods of leather making. But this is not all that Tommaso is doing to keep quality, craftsmanship, and tradition alive in this great city. Today, Tommaso has invited me to visit his latest effort to revitalize the rich traditions here in this city, SCHOLA Academy. So join me as we go to visit Tommaso at the SCHOLA Academy.
Good morning, Kirby.
Tommaso, nice to see you again. Yeah, great.
Kirby, this is Alessandro Colombo.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, nice to meet you.
An too old friend of mine, very talented manager of colleges in Florence, and now my partner since 4 years?
3 years.
3 years ago? Oh God, yes, we started right during the pandemic, right?
Great timing.
But it's we're both shareholders and partner in SCHOLA Academy, which is, I think, is the first academy for the crafts of this genre. Mm-hmm. And it was our idea since the very beginning. Allison and I met when he was at IED, and we started looking into handbag training, handbag making as a way not just to professionalize people, but to give them a cultural element in their experience, and how we could grow this outside of the mere technique. Then Stefano Bemer came into the picture, and then we had more training. And then at some point I said, Alessandro, we need to give this crafts a place, but also the ambition to interact with other crafts, to grow and to really imprint in students not just the skills, but what it feels like to be an artisan in Florence.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And I think it's an amazing project, ambitious. At the moment, we have started women's shoes, sneakers, fragrances coming up, ceramic, hat making,
Really? Wow.
food artisans with Cibrèo. We've been there, right? So the idea is wherever the hands are protagonists, we can indeed bring on and preserve Florentine tradition, heritage, craftsmanship, knowledge, you name it.
Amazing. So this, in many ways, kind of grew out of the shoemaking school and then flourished into something that now is much more broad than just shoes.
Very, absolutely.
Wow. And so all those crafts are in together in one space, kind of all being trained in the company of one another.
You'll see it. It's again the cool putting things, arts side by side. If you think of what Florence was before in the Renaissance, the reason why it was so flourishing is because architects, painters, sculptors, goldsmiths, they were all working so close together, and ideas were flourishing as well. That's what we want to do in the realm of crafts.
Wow.
The name was Bottega, so this is a Bottega for contemporary craftsmen.
Oh, let me show you. Oh, actually, I want Alessandro to show us, and then you get a sense of what we've done.
I can't wait.
Please.
Yeah, thank you.
Alessandro,
Let's
use
go.
it.
Wow. This is amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing. Working hard at the end of the program now, so they're finalizing their own projects.
Okay.
After a 20 weeks program.
20 weeks, okay. And so how many programs a year will you run through the school?
2 per year, per skill. And then, of course, this is the leather making, which comes from the tradition of Scuola del Cuoio, so the maestros and all the people behind that bring that intensity. And then behind it, then we'll see what the others, but shoemaking, women's shoemaking and design. We have a sneaker program as well during the summer. We have a pottery. We have a hat making, and then we have a culinary course.
Wow, amazing. What is the overall philosophy of the school?
Yeah, it's the intelligence of the hands.
Okay.
So where there are hands that can transform material into something, that's where we are, and that's where we want to make sure that the right osmosis between maestros and apprentice can work, and that's work by staying here, work here, stay all day, have the masters and following them and repeat mistakes, make sure mistakes become a good practice. And of course, then the philosophy is always to make sure that students can lead the skill through an entrepreneur program or by entering into companies where they can make a change. So we want to train contemporary craftsmen.
Yeah. I mean, of course, here in Florence, the birthplace of Italian Renaissance, an era that saw the greatest expansion of artistic mastery in the second millennium, has this incredibly rich tradition and culture that literally is part of the fabric of this city. How does the school contribute to that, and how does it carry that legacy on?
Yeah, well, in the past 500 years, basically, from father to son, skills went through by being in the same place, working in the same place. Now the site is different, but we want to make sure that still happen. We want to make sure that people with skills, with history that are carry on something that goes on since centuries, can be there. I can teach students and whoever wants to carry it on how to just leave that boat. And as I think that basically every time that a craftsman, an experienced craftsman dies, is like a library that burns. I mean, with books that have never been read, and that amount of skills that we carry on, that kind of innovation as well that everyone does in his own Bottega, it's something that we cannot lose. It's our responsibility to avoid that. And with students coming from all over the world, this creates an inclusive system as well, which is still and far more interesting. Yeah. So everyone feels that their home is Florence, and Florence is a platform where you can learn craftsmanship and you can carry it on with you. You can blend it with your traditions, and it can create something, a new folklore. In Florence.
This was exactly the intuition we had based on the experience at Scuola del Cuoio. So until the 80s, all the students that we got were Italians. Mm-hmm. And the ecosystem at Scuola del Cuoio was indeed made of Italians, most of the time locals. Then we saw a surge of interest, curiosity, and demand coming from abroad, students coming from Japan, students coming from Northern America. And that gave us the feeling that a training made for people that will not be able to live in the Bottega for years was necessary. Okay. Because they want to come, they want to absorb, and they might want to take it somewhere. Yeah. So this is the final outcome of an idea of a Bottega where arts can be learned, mastered, absorbed, lived, and then you can move them and take them with you and make them yours by merging your culture with ours.
I mean, because of course, like apprenticeship traditionally would be something that takes years. I imagine that here at the Scuola, you don't have years. Like it needs to be.
We have weeks.
Taught.
Correct. We have weeks. Coming from foreign countries, living in Florence, staying here for 20 weeks. It's a commitment. It's a big project. It's the fees, it's the living, is the housing, is a lot. It's time that you take from other things. So we want to make sure that this time is maximized in the experience and the efficiency of the training, but also in enhancing what you will see now, because it's the end of the training 20 weeks period. You will see their personal projects. This is very important. They get to develop their ideas, bring in their cultural influence into their work, and this is the beginning of their own journey.
Yeah, I mean, and look at this. I mean, this is incredible, especially when you look at it, actually on the purse.
Yeah, and the good news as well is that more and more in Florence, they're appearing new Bottega made by people from all over the world. So it's great that there is that kind of inclusion.
Yeah. Well, it's important, and we spoke about this at Scuola del Cuoio, is how, without customers to buy the products that the artisans are making, the artisan can't exist. And so there's a real symbiotic relationship there where you need a market of consumers that appreciate quality craftsmanship and tradition in order to support a rich environment and ecosystem of artisans. And so they really go hand in hand. Without those capable of continuing the craft, those products don't exist. Without the customers to appreciate them, the artisans won't exist.
Correct.
So you guys are doing your part here to make sure that we've got a rich ecosystem of artisans.
Speaking of, let me introduce you to the master craftsman that is in charge of a bespoke shoemaking.
Well, it's personal favorite of mine.
Please.
Be an honor, yeah.
So this is the section where bespoke shoemaking has been organized.
Okay.
The class ended a few weeks ago. We only have one student left in the master program. Kumiko-san has been our master craftsman for almost 25 years. She
25 years.
She looks young, but she's been with Stefano Bemer for almost 25
Started when
years.
she was 8.
She was very young when she arrived, and she's a mother now, so not as even definitely one of. She was with Stefano, trained with Stefano, so
really?
she is
Wow.
depository of.
It's part of that heritage, really
correct.
stretching all the way back to the
That's why
beginnings.
she can do the training because again, our shoes are our shoes. There's no compromise on how they can be made and must be made, and since we source our new blood in the pipeline from the masters, then we need to make sure that they make shoes like we want them to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. And again, all done here, kind of in this ecosystem of craft with other artisans.
It's potentially exposing a tradition to progress. See if ideas contaminate each other, right? If we have a glimpse of something else that we never thought of. Otherwise, if you isolate a system, it remains what it is. We want to preserve craftsmanship, but we also wanted to walk in the new millennium. If there's anything that we can do to improve, even better so. And what better way than looking at other crafts and be inspired by them?
Yeah.
For instance, we started women's shoemaking.
Really?
And that's, it's a stretch for us because historically we've done it throughout the years. We have a beautiful example of pumps made with antique silk produced by Antico Settificio Fiorentino that Stefano made back in the 90s. So we knew how to make it. We never thought of making it a training program, B, a product that we can offer. And then we're venturing in direction that we didn't think of before.
Yeah, amazing. And made in the tradition of traditional craft, not manufacturing.
Exactly, one at a time, with, of course, a modern view on fit, style, materials. It doesn't have to be craft at all cost. A heel like this, you can only buy it. You cannot make it. But again, it's exactly what I was talking about bringing crafts into the new millennium.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Wow.
We collaborate with the jewelry school as well. So at some point, both with bags and shoes, we can add metals, noble metals. And then, of course, I think what Tommaso say as well is to carry on and follow as well some interesting trends like sustainability, of course, which is craftsman born sustainable because it doesn't waste so much. But we're making, in every course, we have a plus effort, so we work with leftover from the production, or in pottery we reuse our clay, and so we're attent as well to make sure that sustainability and craftsmanship blends.
Yeah, that's important.
Keep blending together.
Yeah.
And upstairs, you should show him ceramics because it's really cute.
That's incredible.
Go.
Wow. So even pottery.
Yeah. Pottery and ceramic, yeah. That's we started off recently, and this is a tradition that in Florence is extremely important. So we wanted to make sure that there were no courses in all over Tuscany that were longer than a week, you know.
Really?
But we thought that, you know, we needed strong programs like the one.
How long is this program?
20 weeks, so
20
5
weeks.
months.
Wow.
5 months long. Okay. So they managed to have an overview on what the craft is, you know, and lead it as well and manage it, you know, not only learning it.
Yeah. And is the opera music meant to inspire them of the Tuscan tradition?
Yeah, I know. There's a ballet school just next. Yeah,
okay.
So
it's
good
really
neighbor.
just subconscious messaging to
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. So where is it that these students then would arrive in those 5 months of training?
Well, they arrive to a stage where they can create their own collection, and basically each one of them they'll become a brand, and they can set up their business, and they can work with their hands and make sure their hands became their job, in a way.
That is incredible. Yeah. And so, what's the ambition? So here we are. I mean, we've got leather making bags. We have women's shoes, men's shoes, ceramics. I mean, is this something that you see as continuing to expand over the next years?
Absolutely. Yeah, me and Tommaso have plenty of ideas. Definitely, we love.
Tommaso's not short on ideas. Right?
We would love to open to fragrances.
Okay.
Definitely, because again, Florence is very important for that. We will start with the sustainable fashion making course. Florence is one of the 5 capitals in the world for fashion. We have Prato, which is a district on sustainable textile as well. So we're going to put it together and make sure that people learn how to make as well, which is very important as to design. You know, we need both and much well. And then we have crazy ideas about bike making, so urban mobility, skate making, and go into the product design, so furniture and so on. We're plenty of ideas, and I'm sure we will make it happen at some point.
Do you draw on any of the archives in Florence to help kind of inform of the tradition at all?
There's a lot of institution related to that, and I mean the city itself is an archive, and it's an open book, so you can really pick up and start something and go on, and you definitely find someone that 200 years ago started that craft or the other one. You know, it's always been very fertile for intelligent hands.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. Well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
You know,
thank you.
You know, to preserve and to continue
Yeah.
quality craftsmanship and tradition.
Yeah.